Hey there, Ben Mankiewicz with you. Welcome to TCM, where we're in the middle of 31 days of Oscar. Tonight, a lineup of performances that earned the Academy Award for Best Actor. Up next, from 1941, Gary Cooper leads the way as Sergeant York. Cooper plays Alvin York, a corn farmer mostly interested in corn squeezins. York has a taste for booze, which fuels his temper and lands him in a series of drunken brawls. Despite his vices, York also holds deep religious convictions. When his country calls on him to serve in the First World War, he does what he can to avoid combat, citing his true pacifism. It's an unexpected and unusual turn of events for a story about a war hero. What happens next is an incredible, hard-to-believe story, except it did happen, all of it. Sure, there are a few typical Hollywood embellishments, but the key elements of the story are consistent with the truth. Alvin York was a real-life American hero, and Hollywood, specifically producer Jesse Lasky, tried for nearly 2 decades to get York's story to the screen. York was stubborn, insisting the film focus only on his post-war life. Another obstacle, York's church preached that movies were sinful. In 2018, York's grandson explained in an interview that York distrusted the movie biz, afraid his story would get Hollywoodized. He added that York didn't want a Hollywood floozy playing his wife. York believed only one actor could play him, Gary Cooper. Coop was interested too, but only if the picture focused more on the war and less on farm life. Cooper also had reservations about playing a conscientious objector as war swept through Europe. Gary Cooper was an interventionist, and America was deeply divided at the time over entering the war. In fact, a majority of Americans opposed joining the fight until the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. Cooper believed the film could serve as a wake-up call. When the script was reworked to include more of York's heroics, Cooper finally signed on the dotted line. Walter Brennan and Margaret Wycherley each earned Oscar nominations for their supporting roles. Joan Leslie was cast as York's wife. Leslie, just 16, was certainly no Hollywood floozy. The film became the year's top-grossing film, earning 11 Academy Award nominations along the way, including Best Picture and Best Director for Howard Hawks. Here it is from 1941, Sergeant York. Gary Cooper gave one of the best bad acceptance speeches in the history of the Academy Awards. When Cooper walked up to the podium to accept his Best Actor Oscar for Sergeant York, he struggled to get through his own moment of glory. Funny, when I dreamed about this, I always made a good speech, Cooper joked. He also forgot his Oscar on the podium as he exited the stage. Sergeant York represented the first of 3 consecutive Best Actor nominations for Cooper. His next came for his affecting performance as New York Yankees first baseman Lou Gehrig in The Pride of the Yankees from 1942. The next year, Coop made it a three-peat, earning a nomination for his work in the adaptation of Ernest Hemingway's For Whom the Bell Tolls. Cooper didn't win for either of those pictures. His next and final nomination, though, for the 1952 Western High Noon, yielded his second Oscar win. Coming up, another flag-waving picture from Warner Brothers, this time with an Oscar-winning performance from James Cagney. Yankee Doodle Dandy is next on TCM.
Next on TCM, Yankee Doodle Dandy, then The Front Page, and later, Penny Serenade. Oscar takes Carrie for granted tonight.